They're nobodies with vans, you see, just owning a job, not a destiny. But their easy life has a lower price. My stress will drive you to a padded room twice. So scale your hustle, embrace the fight, then lose your mind for the profit light. Work harder, settle for less. That's the American nightmare, I guess.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! Let's go freaking get here!
This is Radio Freedom.
These are Americans. They deserve the American dream, not this nightmare.
Well, ironically, the reason they can't achieve that dream is because we all believe in it too strongly.
Hey everybody, it is Gary with Shatterproof, the Auto Glass Podcast, and welcome to a very special edition of Shatterproof. This is going to cover a podcast that was done by James Chapman with his special guest, or his now monthly guest, Michael McCarthy, aka Auto Glass Jesus, some people call him. Not sure about that moniker, where it came from. However, many of you may have tuned in, I think about 100, according to at least the YouTube stat, maybe another 25, 30 on his other channels, Spotify, etc. But it did raise some eyebrows, certainly raised my eyebrows. And really what it came down to was, it sounds like you should work harder and settle for less. And we're going to dive right into that. But before we do, I want everybody out there to know that you do have a strong advocate in the auto glass industry. Whether you're that solo guy in a van, all the way up to a big corporation. I don't care if you're Auto Glass Now or Caliber or whomever. Hell, even the evil empire, Safe Light Auto Glass. Maybe a manager, or maybe Renee could learn a thing or two from a couple of items that the Independent Glass Association makes available free without any obligation whatsoever to the automotive glass industry. So if you're a technician, and let's say you're working for one of those companies and you think, I can do this better. I can create my own company. I am ready to go. Let's do this. But where do I get started? Well, you'll soon find out. If you listen to Michael and James's podcast, you already know how that shit show went. And I can tell you this, you don't have to go to Facebook. You don't have to do anything. You'd only have to go to one place, and that's the IGA. We have the links down below on how you can get these two documents. And, let's just take a look real quick. The first one it's called the Auto Glass Playbook. And in the Auto Glass Playbook, what's great about this ebook, and it's real short. It's about, what do we got there? 49 pages. We're going to walk you through setting up your business, how to get loans, how to get better terms with your suppliers. All of that information is in here. We also give you a brief background on the industry. We give you some things about if you're a solo provider, answering the phone, services you can get right away, your point of sale system, shop management system, etc. That's all in this document, and it is free. We give you links, whether you're in the United States or in Canada, because living the dream should not just be living the dream in one place. We're living the dream everywhere. And you're going to get that in here. So that's document number one. Document number two is going to be the playbook. And inside the playbook here, this is once you're established, or if you're already established, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? We have a lot of great things in here. Scripts for your CSRs, how to mitigate or manage the third-party administrator. So dealing with Safe Light Solutions, Safe Light Auto Glass, the steering, the short pays, everything. That's in these documents. They are absolutely free, 100% free. And you can ask questions about it in the forums. And I'll always say this. No question is a stupid question. Now, with that being said, there are some stupid questions. So it's kind of an irony that, it's kind of like an oxymoron. Jumbo shrimp. They're not too big. However, put out whatever you need to put out, and people will answer as they need to answer. Nobody in this world's perfect. Nobody has all the answers. So definitely, though, a good place to start are these two documents. We'll make sure all of that information is in the links and everything below. But let's dive right into this review or rebuttal of the "No One's Coming to Save You" podcast that James put him on the Glass podcast. So let's just roll right through this.
See them? They're living the American dream. Here, a little hard work can take anyone from rags to riches.
I was born with one leg and no money, but I worked hard. And now I'm a billionaire. I can buy all the legs I could ever.
We have our returning guest, our monthly returning guest, super busy man, Mr. Michael McCarthy. We're going to bring you some hard-hitting, about 30 minutes, 35 minutes worth of just industry bullshit, industry talking.
And I will say, buckle up. If you haven't heard any of this, it's on the ladder. It's a lot of bullshit. And I will always say this. I am more than willing to have a open public debate and discussion with anyone who wants to come and say, well, Hart, your reasoning's wrong or whatever. More than welcome to entertain that, learn. I'm a lifetime learner. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I do know a thing or two about businesses. I got out of college and immediately started my own business. And since then, I have been a serial entrepreneur. My wife and I have owned many businesses. We still own businesses that are very important to the communities, just as the guy in a van, all the way up to an operator like Michael, who has a shop in New Jersey, who made another acquisition to increase his territory. They're all very instrumental. I do have that background, so I feel that I do have a thing or two to say about some of this. So let's just carry on here.
And Mike, I want to ask you about your post that you put out, the independence, no one is coming to save you. What was at the bottom of that? The comments blew up. Let's see what you got.
It's pretty sad. Sometimes I actually spend this much time on Facebook because I am pretty occupied with a lot of things going on.
Okay, so this is kind of like an overview. This is some things to come. Now, I've already chopped this video up for time. You can go watch James's entire podcast with Michael. It's on his channel. We'll do our best to get the link afterwards because we will repurpose this and put it on the YouTube channel. Most of you right now are watching this live, so great, good for you, but we'll make sure that the replay does include the links and we'll get that edited. However, the big thing here is that being on social media all day or tuning in and whatnot, it is brain rot. I give you that. And with that being said, it is one of the most valuable tools the Independent Glass Association has to get larger messages out. Now mind you, we do that on Facebook and Instagram and X and LinkedIn because we realize your cup of tea may be one of those other platforms. But one of the things to do is not get overly involved. Context in social media is everything. I occasionally do write things that all of a sudden people think I had a different agenda or said something differently. And the reality is, no, I did not. And it's real simple. If you want to call me out on something, pick up the phone and call me. And I'd be happy to have that conversation. But this is what we're about to get into is I call it the rabbit hole. And let's just enjoy this journey together.
I just start scrolling and I just like to observe what's going on. You know, you could call it like a little bit of market research. You could call it like just research about.
There's no market research. There's nothing whatsoever here at all on social media. Now, market research would be you're wanting to see what your competitors are doing when it comes to things like how they're posting or engaging on social media, what their ad types look like. But getting down into these groups, Auto Glass Tech Talk, Auto Glass Technician this, Auto Glass Installer that, Auto Glass Shop this. That's more of a trip into insanity than it is market research or anything like that.
Industry. So I'll always just jump on the browse. I'll check out Glass Bites, read the article, see what's going on.
And absolutely, there's nothing in my humble opinion. And again, would be happy to debate this, happy to discuss this live or in a recording. 0.0 news comes from Glass Bites. Sorry, but that is the truth. Again, in my opinion, I look at that and could care less on how many break-ins there were during the Super Bowl, that how many glass shops did anything, or coverage about literally nothing. There's zero that he could be gleaning from it, but I digress.
There's one particular post that someone made about just asking how to, should they go on their own, right? So I start reading through the post, I'm reading through the comments, and it's like it's just typical, right? It's like the same people are always in these comments. Like, they're not doing glass, they're not doing recals, they're not helping customers. They're in the Facebook groups. Like,
Okay, so first of all, I have to ask this. So you're not doing glass, you're not doing any glass services. So who are these people, these two people? And Michael has such an opinion about everything. Just give us names, Michael. I don't know. You're already Mr. Controversy. So let's talk about the names. And you could start to make assumptions, and this is the whole game. We'll assume who he's talking about. We don't know, but again, it would be weird that there's somebody there. Now, I do know there are some people that are retired from the industry that still hang out in the groups, but you got to give them props. They already put their time in. They have a thing or two to maybe share with us. So that's kind of like the whole thing is like let's have that frank and honest discussion with the old timers. They have a thing or two to share. I don't have a problem with
instantly. There's two particular people that I'm not going to mention, but they're
Come on.
always in the
Name
comments, usually negative or driving people a certain way or whatever. So I'm reading this post and the guy's like, I'm thinking about going on my own for a while now, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just reading. People are like, you have to open an LLC. Like, first off, you could open up a corporate however you want to do. You want to be a sole private LLC, S Corp, C Corp.
Not sure why this got under his skin, because that would be an appropriate response. Get an actual business started, sole proprietor up. You should be licensed with your state no matter what. And again, we have those documents available. We'll make sure you have them in the link. So if you are thinking about that, we have the entire blueprint. So you don't have to go right off the bat and seek an attorney or one of those business startups, which there's a dozen online that you can choose from. You don't have to go to AI, which we'll get to here in a second in this conversation. But you have some options on there. So I don't know why he's getting all angry about this.
Facebook. Check your state rules, regulations, whatever. Call it an attorney or an accountant. See what's best that fits the profile for what you're trying to do. Anyway, besides the point. So I see that post and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it just sets me off. I'm like, that's so bad because there's so many people giving wrong advice.
And so far, I haven't heard any wrong advice. And somebody saying start an LLC and whatnot, and maybe there were some other things in the post. However, to get this angry and upset, breathe, do some box breathing, something like that. It's okay, Mike.
People that are generally out there looking to get good advice because they're kind of clueless on what to do or how to proceed moving forward. So they're like, all right, I'm going to go here. And it's always the same people just jumping in. That these people haven't really built anything. They've been around for 20 years. They're still in the same place, all the same shit. Well, anyway, so then, I was like, just started thinking about it. And I'm like, going back to this whole legislation and everything going on with all these states. Like, the independents, they have no hope in a sense, right? So everything thrown at them is just negative. It's negativity. It's, you can't do this. It's steering for the insurance companies. It's, you're not getting the work. My SEO don't work. I mean, it's just a shitstorm of multiple things.
Okay, so he's not entirely wrong. All of those things do exist, and they have existed for quite some time. And that for just as many posts there are about steering and short pay and safe light and not sure where he's going with the SEO. I mean, so from time to time, people do get on and say, my SEO is not working, or why isn't my Google this? But again, they're asking questions. They're on Facebook. They're asking questions. They're sorting out their business, sorting out their life. Not sure why Michael has this feeling that he personally needs to be involved with it or even get upset.
What I get aggravated about is people make posts. It creates this negative atmosphere. Everybody's living in these little ecosystems that they're in, which they're nothing.
Okay, so every ecosystem is something, and it is an important part of all of us and our businesses. So if you're, I'll pick somewhere in Colorado, and you're on the other side of Vail or wherever. I don't know all the resorts, but you're probably operating out of a van. You're covering 125 mile territory. That's your little universe, and that universe is just as important as the tri-state area where Mike's at, or New Jersey, Eastern Pennsylvania, whatever the case is. They're all important. I don't think we need to belittle where we all come from.
What's really out there in the world. And people forget, and I say this all the time, we live in America. You could still live the American dream, regardless of the politics going on, regardless of the taxes we pay. You still have an opportunity every day that you wake up to better yourself, better your life, better your family, and everybody else around you.
Okay, I'm not going to argue that. Now, the American dream, if we're going to do some history on it, started back in 1931. And really, it was coined more so for home ownership. Immigrants now living the American dream because you could afford a home. You now had ownership in something. And over time, a lot of slick willies, if you will. Everybody who's written a self-help book, guru book, or whatever, it just kept expanding on that. Now, the brakes came down hard on the American dream in the 70s when we hit the economic spiral after Vietnam, all that happy fun stuff. Let's erase all that stuff. Let's go through the oil crisis. Some of you weren't even around when that happened. Dating myself, I'm 55. I lived through that. I remember my dad having to siphon gas from a gas drum that we had when he didn't want to wait in line. However, we hit the brakes again in 2008, again when the housing industry was obliterated. The American dream, it's just a moniker. Just like you saw at the beginning of this, I threw those in for sarcasm and humor, but some truth. The American dream is overrated. The one thing, though, you can do is wake up with as best of an attitude as you can, that you're going to go out there, you're going to succeed, you're going to get shit done. That's basically there. I can't disagree with them on that. But this American dream stuff, give it up, man. It's just a dream. It's just a dream around the world. And in fact, if you go and look it up, we're 16th in the world when it comes to actual opportunity. So we're not the best in the world. And I think we're overselling whatever the hell an American dream may be today.
That's the choice you need to make. But if you sit around pondering about all the negative shit going on every day, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
One, I've been through the ringer, so I learned a lot of stuff. So when I see posts like this, it bothers me because I want to protect the people that want to actually do something with their lives. So there's a lot of people that sit back and they talk all this shit on these Facebook groups, particularly Facebook groups. That's where most of the interaction comes in, right? They run their mouths. People think they're somebody. At the end of the day, they're nobody. They have no real experience. Put them in a real situation, they wouldn't know what to do. And it's very hard for one guy by himself in a van to give out real business.
And I have to stop right here because a guy in a van is going to have just as much knowledge and experience to other people who are, let's call it van life, that are owner operators, single van, maybe their spouses, their CSR helps them with billing, whatever the case is. You are still a business. You are still an important backbone of not only this industry, but your local economy. And this kind of attitude, I don't see anything helpful or positive about it. I thought we were supposed to wake up and be positive. And all of a sudden, we're berating a group of business within our industry that is vitally important. It serves a purpose. It serves a purpose in a lot of communities that can't be served or don't have the need to have a fixed-based operation, a storefront with 10 employees. It doesn't make any sense. That is your scale. Your scale is going to be based on where you operate. And if your choice is to be in BFE, South Dakota, BFE, Colorado, and that is your business model and you're never going to scale, good for you. But you have a business, you pay taxes, you're contributing to the base, safety and efficacy of the community. Bottom line.
Business advice, because most likely they have not experienced the things that happen when you operate a business and not all.
Okay, there's only a handful of things that no matter whether you're sole proprietor up to Renee at Safelight, business is business. So you still have to worry about your operations, taking care of customers, sales, marketing, your accounting, all of that. Those are all common things. The scale of difficulty rises as you grow and expand, but the business concepts are there. So I'm pretty sure people can talk about their business experience no matter how small or large they are, and there's a common denominator between all of it.
So it drives me crazy. It gets me heated. It gets me hot.
Everything
because
does.
I want to help people, and you can't help people if they're already
So
their
this is
mind's
help.
already tarnished
This is
because
help.
they got something stuck in their head from some dipshit or bozo on Facebook group, and they can't get that out of their head. And they can't move forward, and they won't take the risk or whatever it is. So that stuff really aggravates me. And then just going back to this whole legislation, the lawsuits that are going to go on, or the people are saying they're going to go on. People, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. contribute as little as you can in a sense. Because at the end of the day, by the time anything happens 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, with class action suits, steering, all that stuff, guess what? You just lost all that time.
Okay, this I absolutely disagree with. And fundamentally, this is a big flaw that is happening in our industry right now when it comes to shop ownership mentality. You should be looking at your business as a whole and saying, I put a percentage of my revenue back into operations, into growth, into marketing, into my sales and post-sales channel, my follow-up, and back into the industry. Because legislation matters. That's called law. And when a law is passed that puts independent auto glass shops behind the eight ball, making them play by a different set of rules than everybody else that made the law, then that's a problem. Now, class action lawsuits, those are different. But what class action lawsuits do is, yes, they enrich the initial class. Everybody else ends up with something because we've all been a part of a class at some point. T-Mobile, AT&T, Bic razors, you name it. And you've got like your $5 coupon or something. But what it did is it fundamentally changed the way that business who was sued had to operate. And in our case, it even goes further because with the current FTC and DOJ complaints and cases that we have open right now, it adds and contributes to it. So I'm going to talk real quick about that Brian Williams whistleblower case. That has contributed greatly. So that was a whistleblower case. He was the only person who got enriched to the tune of about $31 million. But what it did is it opened the door for us to have legal proceedings to show those who make the law, those who enforce the law, that this is a pattern and a systemic pattern. These are all very important things. So to just say, put as little in as you want, that might work for Mike. And Mike may or may not pay down the road. But for an industry, SafeLight and the insurance companies are going around the country right now, and they are attempting to pass law that will harm you, the independent glass shop. So whatever Mike has to say about that, in my opinion, is fully irrelevant and very dangerous to this industry. Happy to debate that, James, on a podcast with him.
And most likely, you could have took advantage of that and just try to find the niche in your market. You could have marketed more. You could have took some capital, put it into your company. There's multiple things you could do. You don't have to stay in the same place because you're worried about, oh my God, there's going to be a class action suit to sue SafeLight. And all of a sudden, what do you think you're going to get out of that class action suit? You're going to get a check for like $441. The person that...
Hey, and that's $441. I don't even know where he's getting this number, but that's more money. And you still should be operating your business while contributing and supporting to the laws that affect you, to the things that matter. And if you can donate $50 to a cause, great. And you know what? That $50 was not going to do shit for your marketing, wasn't going to do anything to increase your SEO, but that $50 went a long way somewhere else to help you. Not necessarily immediately now, but shortly down the road. And Mike's going to get to something I'm going to come back here on a second.
He's going to get like 50% of that. By the time all that happened, no one's going to get anything. But you know what you could have did? You could have went out. You could have met insurance agents. You could have went out. You could have spent money on marketing. You could have went out. You could have went and shook hands and tried to get business by people and just let people know what you do. But instead, you sit on a Facebook group.
Okay, so bullshit on this agent deal. So I know Mike, to a certain degree, relies on fleet and agent accounts. And there was great controversy when this whole State Farm, people across the country were lighting up the phones here at the IGA saying, is this going to harm? And we've already seen, yes, it does. And it is getting worse. We have tons of documented and reported cases where insurance agents are now handcuffed, that they have to use the software and the procedures that are handed down by the companies they underwrite insurance for. So all state agents, State Farm agent, they're under the gun to make sure that they're not looking out for you and your handshake and your wonderful Dunkin' Donuts or whatever the hell you guys give out when you're out there courting these insurance agents. But the one thing that they are doing is they are sending a majority of the business away from you. That is happening and that is real. So hey, handshake thing is important, but that's not that should not be how you're running your business as a whole to get more customers.
Being negative to begin with, you talk all this shit. You think someone's going to come save you from some organization, which no one's going to fucking at this point, because it would have happened 25.
Okay, so organization, there's only two. There's the Independent Glass Association. This is what we do. And then there's the Auto Glass Safety Council. They do safety. Okay, so directly I have to make the assumption that Mike is talking about the Independent Glass Association. And true, we're not here to save you, but what we are here to do every single day is protect and defend and fight for your rights, change the laws, stop SafeLight and these insurance companies from doing exactly what they are doing. These bills are real. We already have videos. We've already provided testimony. We've shown that in Washington. It's happening in Virginia. I'll be having a conversation with the governor, getting her primed up to veto if this doesn't get out of there. That's how important this is. We cannot let these things happen. And it's not a waste of time at all. Zero. So if you're out there and you're going, oh, well, I like what he's saying and I shouldn't be doing this, you're only putting the nails in your own coffin and not helping the rest of the industry at the same time. Strength is only in numbers when it comes to this. But Mike's out here saying something completely different.
SafeLight has a business model that's legal.
Okay, so and I almost got it just boils my blood. First of all, that we would have saved you over the last 25 years. So here's the difference between now and let's just go back in time. So none of us can go back and change the past. My involvement with the IGA didn't come in until much later. And my predecessors, for a lack of a better term, screwed a lot of it up. They went in directions that God knows where they should have been. They relied on bad legal advice. They relied on inaccurate data. They didn't collect data differently. And with that being said, here we are today, 2026. And what we do have the advantage of, we have the collective advantage of data, industry data, actual short pays, late payments, how they treat you during the claim. We have customer complaints. We have affidavits. We have all of this. And the nice part about it is the technology wraps it up, explains it to people that don't know our industry. These are lawmakers. So the difference between now is we're not coming to save you now, but what we do have a damn good defense. And we have a damn good offense right now because the data and the reality and the truth is on our side. So this is where we're at. But Mike, continue.
It works and it makes fucking money.
Okay, and it's legal from the standpoint that they have that, but there's three groups, and I broke that down in the last video: SafeLight Solutions, the TPA, SafeLight Auto Glass, and SafeLight Group that encompasses and puts that all together. That the one or more of those, they're definitely working some method around that. And is it legal? Well, we're about to find out because we are systematically going state by state, working with AGs, Department of Insurance, because steering, it's not legal. There's no gray area. And they're not just operating kind of like in between. We have explicit evidence provided by shops and consumers that say otherwise. And they allege that is happening. So that is the difference. And I don't know why you'd be giving a shout out. I mean, is SafeLight really working? I look at posts. I talk to ex-employees. I've seen the number of whistleblowers that have come up over the last year that have contacted and reached out to say just how horrible the jobs are. And I'm not sure that they, at least in the United States, they're really making that big buck that he alleges they do.
And it's going to be too hard to tap into that. And just be realistic. By the time you find some genius attorney that actually can figure out how to go after them, they're actually pretty legit. It's in my eyes, it's probably impossible. So if there really was something going on, and this is going on for 20, 25 years, don't you think someone actually would have got something accomplished by now? But no, because they run it legitimately.
Okay, so I've already explained it. And no, you could run a legitimate business, but have a second set of books that nobody knows about. You could run a legitimate business and make sure you lobby and set laws that obfuscate and make people look the other way. But that doesn't mean that just because you haven't been caught yet doesn't mean that you're running a legitimate business. And attorneys aren't, when we start talking to them, they look at this and go, well, we're typically up here in the billions, multi-billions for settlements when they do class action lawsuits or actually get involved. But if you're just a shop from New Jersey, from New York, and you just approach some attorneys, those attorneys are going to look at it. They may not have any type of national type of class capability. But second to that, they look at just your store and go, well, you're $1 to $2 million in revenue and what the potential losses could be. And we scale that over 10, 15 years. It's not really worth our time to get involved. Good attorneys are listening. They are on the watch now. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Whatever loopholes they use are real, and there's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do about it is wake up every day and try to do better and try to go after more market share and try to build companies and try to do more glass and be more educated, do more training, do more ADOS. It's a lot easier. There's so much ways to research. There's ChatGPT, there's Poe, there's Claude, there's Gemini, there's DeepSeek. You could literally just type in one of these OpenAI and ask, like, oh, help me build a business model for Autoglass. Like, it's not rocket science. Like, we have so many valuable tools at our fingertips. I can tell you right now, if you look in the last year, and I'm not gonna lie, I have used AI for some of my posts because sometimes I just can't get it out. So it's easier for me to type something and say, polish this. I mean, yeah, it sounds like I'm a Harvard-educated person, which everybody knows I'm not, and I don't type like that, I don't speak like that, so it probably looks odd. But I can tell you right now, there's people running with the AI right now, and like just like using the OpenAI, and they think they're superstars, and some people think they're superstars, but those people don't even know what AI is, most likely. But I see it all over these groups every day. I see the AI. Use it. Why not?
I mean, it's a tool. Right? It's another tool. It's another.
Wait. So he uses it, knows about it. You could build an Autoglass model on it, but then people are using it on Facebook and social media, but they don't know anything about what is being put up there. But then you should use it, and then now we're all using it. And I can tell you this, yes, AI does have a place in the Autoglass industry, more so in some other areas. One of the places that AI should not be used in is how do I run my business? That's one, because literally AI requires you to feed it everything. You have to feed it your financials, give it a snapshot. It's not going to build a blueprint just out of thin air, because a blueprint out of thin air is just going to be just something generic because it doesn't have background. And at this point, which you're using, chat, all those things he talked about, there's a term called angenic, which means that it thinks for itself, it has a memory, and it can keep that memory going. But if you keep throwing enough shit into AI, it starts to forget. It has memory drift. It's not going to remember. And you start getting some really kludgy looking documents and some bad business advice. But let's continue. I'm only playing this AI thing here for a point here in a second.
Just like your tablet, and that's the way of the world. So what you're saying with the independence, it's like you got to fend for yourself and, do what little bit you can to try to help fight it.
You got to figure.
But the same thing with AI. It's coming. There is no stopping it.
It's here.
It's coming, and it may plateau a little bit at some point, but then it's going to kick back up again. And if you're still stuck down here on this level and it kicks back up again, you're really behind the fucking curve.
Well, it's moving faster than anybody can understand.
Yes.
Like even I need to run a sales report for the day. AI. You want to figure out which techs are doing the most jobs across, an average of 365 days. You could see how many jobs they're doing average. You can't say, oh, they're doing 6 jobs a day. It never works out like that. It might come up as 4.3 jobs per day. Oh, how many working days was in the year? How many days does the technician miss? How many, you have to utilize AI right now.
Okay. So all of that, everything he just said, from sales reports to your technician working 4.6 jobs a day to all of that, you do not need AI for that. In fact, that should be in your point of sale system right now. From what I understand, and I might be wrong, and Michael can correct me, I believe he uses Glassbiller, or maybe he's already moved beyond that to AGX, something that he's gotten behind. You might have seen them, and they claim to have AI or something into it. The reality is, it's called reporting. So if you're using your point of sale system, your technicians are logging in, they're timing in, they're geolocated, they're doing all that stuff, and you actually are putting all the right data in. The reports that come from your point of sale system already tell you that. They're gonna give you that. And in fact, the point of sale system already has the frequency built in. They already know the day's work. They know the time off. They already know all that. You don't have to go and take something and go feed AI and then be over here paying $20 a month to have an AI account. And then that's gonna forget and have memory drift and all that stuff. It's in your point of sale system. So I'm a little confused just about this whole AI thing, but that was point number one. We're going to come up to point number two here. So hold on.
Because it gives you insight and data. Right now, data is the most important thing you could have. You know, ADOS equipment's like 12, 14,000. Guys, if you can't buy that in the first place, you most likely should not be in business.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this out here. So if you're just starting out, and there is it's called bridge pathing. So what happens is I start out. Let's say I leave my current employer. I have enough tools. I have a van. I have enough credit so I can buy glass and whatnot. Coming up a little short to be able to finance, let's just say, a $12,000 hotel system or something. Okay. So not bad on me, but I have a plan, because this is where the planning comes in. That what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to team up with somebody that I give the calibrations to, that I'll do the service on the vehicle, repair, replacement, and then that calibration company will come in and take care of the calibration. So for now, problem solved. And I'm going to work out an arrangement, because that's the best thing to do, to where I get a small percentage of that recalibration. So now while I'm doing that and I'm building my cash reserve, then I can jump up and actually get myself a calibration system, or at least lease one, or go down that road. And again, that's where these IGA documents, we give you access to how you can get money, where you should get money, things you could do. And if you can't, if you have that 400 or 500 credit rating, it's going to be very difficult. And I would not take a loan at 400 or 500 credit ratings, because you're going to be at the max 29, 30% APR. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's actually detrimental. Keep on the path. Get your cash reserves going, because that's your best bet. But to say you shouldn't be in the industry and doing any of this, I highly disagree with it. I'll disagree with that till I'm blue in the face.
If you cannot afford to spend a couple $100 on technology, in the sense of, a field management tool, or
okay, I do agree with him here. And your shop should have a point of sale system. That point of sale system should be your shop management. It should give you your reporting, should do everything you need it to do. So that's going to be your part matching. It's going to do your invoicing, work orders, customer notification, all of that. You should be able to spend $200 a month. In fact, you have to. So that is the prerequisite. That's the bare minimum, that you have to spend at least $200 a month. Now, you get it cheaper, good for you, as long as you're still getting everything. But I do agree with Mike on this. Disagree with him on the ADAS system. Totally agree with him on this.
Something with AI, or any kind of glass software. If you can't afford the ADAS, like, you probably shouldn't be in business, because these are the tools you need to bring your business to actually operate these days. It's a lot more. You need to realize who you give your data to.
Boy, hold on. How do you stop that? How do you stop that?
We're not talking about what you're putting into OpenAI.
Okay.
I'm talking about your data with the autoglass. Me personally, I'm not giving nobody my data.
But all point of sale systems can actually give your data away, right?
Well, it depends on the terms and conditions. It's really good to read those things.
Yeah. Who's giving it away?
You should
James?
definitely read the terms on people, who you're dealing with, to see if you're protected. I'm not going to say any names, but I've read a couple of them, and it's pretty fucking open, where they could literally take your data and give it to anybody. But what I'm saying is me personally, I'm not submitting none of my safe flight problems to anybody. That's all I'm going to say, because that's my data. where is that data going to, and what is it being used for? Is the data being sold? We don't know.
To who?
Who's holding the data? Where's the cloud? What's the terms that you agreed to when you gave up your data and conditions? That's just me personally. I'm not giving no information. I get a short pay. That's my problem. My job got steered on the phone. That's my problem.
Okay, so clearly what he's talking about here, and if I'm wrong, jump in the the comments, Michael, or call me or email me. But you're talking about the IGA steering program, because there's nobody else in the industry that's collecting short payment steering information or whatnot. And that data, SafeLight already has. You already have it. Shops in your market already are operating off those discount rates. You are not a snowflake, and you're not getting something special. You're another brick in the wall with everybody else. So when shops submit that information to the Independent Glass Association, we make it public right away. We don't hide it. We're not selling the data. We put it right up on our steering page for the whole world to see. And then, yes, what we do is we take that information report and we do two things. One, we follow up with the insurance company and the third-party administrator that this effery is happening. And then we will also then submit that and include that as part of our legal class. So that is going out to attorneys, that's going out to DOJ, that's going out to FTC, that is used when we go up against the legislation. So we're not selling the data. Who the hell would we sell this data to? It has no value at all other than the value in the actions that we're taking, and that we need to show is proof. So by you saying, well, I don't need to share that and I can handle it and whatnot, you're just as much as keeping the problem status quo and supporting those big giants, the people who have the legitimate business model that operate through some loopholes. You're part of the problem more than you are the solution. And I believe you're calling out the IGA on it, and I call bullshit on that. We are very transparent on what we do with our data. It's on our website. Go look at it. And I'm a phone call away, always.
I know at the end of the day, the only way to eliminate those problems is create more work and do more business.
How do you handle steering if your customer steered on the phone? Do you do the three-way call with them, or do you just
We do three-way calls, but you got to understand is you win some, you lose some. You got to understand the brand that they built is very, very good, no matter how you put it.
Very good.
And I don't knock them because if I was in their shoes, I'd be probably doing the same thing. It's a household name. When you're speaking to an older person, they get nervous because how many people actually replace multiple windshields through their life?
Well, first of all, you could actually use AI, and that's going to tell you that. But since you're a masterclass at it, I'm sure that just escaped your mind. The reality is windshields are good for about 5 years over the lifetime. You own a vehicle, you're looking at an average of 5 windshield replacements over your lifetime. But I'm going to digress back to this other point, which is the whole idea is you win some, you lose some. That's not a way to run business. If you're looking down the barrel of a gun and let's say you're losing 3 to 5 jobs per week, and then if you need to use AI to figure out how many business weeks that you're open for and you want to do all the math, the reality is at the end of the year, that stacks up. You're talking 50 plus. It depends on the size of your organization, the market you're in. It could be hundreds. And then you take that times a certain ratio, which would be your net profit margin, and you look at the loss is incredible. But to sweep it under and say, work harder for less, because that's the underlying message he just said. Go out and just do more, but you'll make less, because you can't just write off the fact that steering went somewhere else. It matters. It matters more than you think. Mathematically, it matters. It's part of business. It matters. And when they create laws or they're looking to pass laws, they're going to make it even worse. And you're just going to, your advice is work harder. Bullshit. You have to stand and change. You have to work to get the laws, not in the favor of the best business model that you put together like SafeLight, but in the business models that we all should be thriving for, that are a free and open enterprise, free of encumbrances and interference from anybody else. And it's time to start acting more professional to get these issues taken care of. Plain and simple, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
Probably not. I don't know what the statistics are, but I'm sure it's not
AI
many.
sees
So
it.
people get nervous. And you know what? People could go wherever they want. If they feel more comfortable letting us do it, then we'll do it. If we get steered on the phone, all right. The next
big
3,
deal.
we won't. We'll be more prepared. But the thing is, like, I'm not, and granted, I don't answer the phone. And I listen to all my phone recordings and stuff.
All
And
of them?
listen, things happen.
All of
If
them.
you're just a person in a van by yourself, it's so much easier to handle things.
What? Whoa, wait. I thought we were anti-van, or are we pro-van now? Well, maybe we might be pro-life van here.
So
Let's
you
go.
do your 5 to 8 jobs a day. You have
Not
your
bad.
recall reports.
Pretty
You
good.
submit
If you
your
have
jobs if
recall,
they're insurance. You speak with all your customers. You know them personally. You know, if something happens, usually you could, you know, you're not, your phone's, I don't know if your phone's blowing up for 10 hours, but how are you, if your phone's blowing up all day long, how are you actually doing work? It's hard to do that. You know, so it's a lot easier for the smaller guy to operate in a sense because it's one person kind of handling everything. But when you have systems and processes and in a company and you have, you know, 8 CSRs, there's 8 things that could go wrong.
or you're the guy in the van. All those things you just said are my business processes, and more than one thing could go wrong in those same business processes you're talking about. So the difference between 1 CSR and 8 CSRs, it's just multiplying the type of issues that can happen. But at the end of the day, both business models have the same issues, the same potential wreck on the road, same flat tire, same customer missed appointment. Those are equal to all of us. So I'm still not sure if he's pro van or not. I'm it's hard to decide. I might have to use my AI for this.
You know, you have 25 texts. Someone's going to get a flat. Someone's going to get into a fender bender. Well, I wouldn't say that happens often, but someone's going to get into a fender bender here and there.
Sounds like it does.
You know, vans are going to break down. Parts are not going to get delivered from distributors. These are all things that happen throughout the day.
No shit.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And you just have to deal with it and figure out how, when it does happen, to fix it and move on. But it just goes back to you get short paid, try to fix it and move on. If you sit there and
try to fix it, how in the hell do you fix a short pay other than 1-800 call your lawyer or go down the road of collections? So there's a magic wand where you just fix a short pay. I am so confused at the message here. So anti-litigation, but then go fix it. But
and ponder and fucking drive yourself crazy over another company that's literally taking up space in your own head every day. It's not healthy. You just got to move on. And when the next big thing comes out, don't say, oh, the calibration is going to be self-calibrating in 5 years. And yet you lose the gravy train that, you know, everybody thinks they're fucking big shots now because, you know, their top line revenue goes up because of ADOS and they're using OEM parts. But what's the bottom line? What are they bringing home? What's the net? What's the EBITDA? They don't even know.
Okay, so first of all, I'm here to let everybody know that not too far down the road here, there will be self-calibration. Why? Because there is self-calibration today. And if you hold up your little, what do we call it? Fortune teller ball, and you look into it and you say, dear ChatGPT, will there be self-calibrating forward-facing cameras in the future? Just look at what the answer is. And the answer is yes, because the very tool that you're asking and the very tool that Michael's behind, the 9 different names, all are being embedded into the vehicle's telematic systems and programming that calibrate in real time. They use AI to adjust to real-time deficiencies in the vehicle's performance, period. Because that's where we're going. That's the technology that's being used. Companies like NVIDIA, Mobileye, those types of companies, it is now baked into these high-resolution 4, 8, 12K cameras. It's all now on the chip. And it's being handled in real time. So this gravy train and all of you big shots that all, by the way, are berated for not doing it, but then when you're on there, you're just part of the gravy train acting like a big shot. The reality is it is a safety necessity. It is a service you must perform. Somebody has to perform, and there is a fee for it. I don't believe it's a gravy train when you look at the investment and the time and the liability you take on, and then what an insurance company is going to tell you you can get paid on. That's not necessarily a gravy train. Has it boost revenue within glass shops? It has, but I don't believe by any sense of the imagination there's just people just making it rain ADAS money, making it rain ADAS money. It's a good business model, but like all good business models, it will change. And if you're looking at a 5-year performance term for your business plan, you need to start baking in, if you are in markets where the turnover of vehicles is every 3 to 5 years, not 12 years, but 3 to 5 years, your business will be affected by self-calibration. It's guaranteed. It's going to happen. AI's doing it now, and it will in the future.
So all I could say is worry about yourself. You have to be selfish in that aspect. Help people that ask for help, intentional help.
Or berate them.
Intentionally help them the right way. Don't do it for clout. Don't do it because you think you know something or you heard somebody else say it and you're regurgitating information and then bringing it back out to try to act like you know what you're talking about. Because I can tell you there's way too many people that do that. Look for someone that has built some real fucking shit and ask them for advice. I can't tell you how many people come to me and ask me like the most basic thing. I have no problem answering you. Now, am I going to answer you 2 o'clock in the morning? No. It might take you a day or two to get back to you.
Well, you wouldn't need to because there's AI, first of all. And then we got the IGA documents. Mike, you're off the hook.
To see you do better. Because the problem is the independents are like, there's like sections of independents. I don't know the word. There's probably a better word I could use. But there's
classes.
It's everybody's operating in different ways, right? And
they should.
I think
because if we were all to operate the same way, the industry would be the same. And that's what's happening right now. The industry operates the way Safelite wants it to operate, in my opinion. Allegedly, I got to throw those words out there. But just look at it. Look at how the insurance segment of this industry works. It's not working the way your glass shop wants it to work. It's working on the concept of one. But if we all had our own ways and we all operated differently, that is a big difference.
They got some kind of, most people don't have a business model, like how to scale, like how to raise capital.
And maybe you don't want to scale.
How do I get an SBA loan? People do not know. Fucking guy. He tells me, oh, it's the fucking guys are installing glass for $99. Well, listen, if they're installing glass for $99, God bless them, because glass is expensive. There's not many windshields, even at the $99 mark.
Not anymore.
So give me that connect, because I want to know where you're getting that glass from.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I'm like, I said to God, what are you even concerned about that for? Like, just stay in your lane. Oh, but I'm in business 40 years. Yeah, in business 40 years. You own a job for 40 years. That's
we're back to this. But this is an important thing, though. So this does happen in almost every market, and you have more than one low price leaders. These people that capitate your market by going down to the lowest margin possible. And some of them are not legitimate businesses. Now, we don't have the exact numbers on it, but one of the things that we've been championing, and which we fundamentally believe, it is time for these suppliers in our industry to wake up and start supporting the industry, not contributing more and more of this mess. In fact, I am shocked to this date, all of the advocacy, when these laws come up that Safelite wants to pass in these states that are going to reduce the number of jobs that you as an independent glass shop have in favor of going to a big guy, where those big guys are not the biggest customer for these suppliers. Where are these suppliers? Where are you, Migrant? Where are you, PGW? Where are you, Pilkington? And then all of the other people, where are you at? The tool suppliers, because it's going to affect each and every one of you, whether you like it or not. And I'm not being punishy by saying it. This is the truth of reality. Start looking around. Look at your numbers. They're not dramatically going up. And in fact, if you're an adhesive manufacturer, your numbers on your premium products are going down. They have been going down. Why? Because they're being capitated. And that is the absolute truth. But berating a business model, you do your business model. Wake up, feel good about it. You choose to scale when you want. You never want to scale, and you're 40 years into it. Good for you, because you chose a career path, you chose safety, you chose your community, you chose your family. Good for you.
In my new position, I've traveled to different parts of the country, right? And the Northeast version, and I'll include Ohio in that because at one point it was the West, but that mentality of operating business is fucking cutthroat, busy.
Everywhere.
Like, no one's waiting for you to do anything. They want it done now. And if you can't explain why they have to wait, they're going somewhere else. They are pissed. It is aggressive in the north. It is very fast paced. Like it's not for the weak-minded. I'll tell you this right now, because in Ohio it's the same way. But like I've went to other states and I'm like, wait, your customer's okay with waiting 2 weeks? Like, well, yeah, we're busy. They understand. I'm thinking, dude, that shit would not have flown. Like, it would not at all. It's like, you got 20 jobs. Okay, well, I'm important. I need this done now because I've got this, and this going on. And you're more so in New York area than I am. In Ohio, your business is even more aggressive than what it is where I am.
And then everybody from New York moved to Jersey, so it's like we get
everybody in. There you go.
Now, I'm big with AI. I love AI. There's a lot of tools I use every day that have AI built in, or I'm using AI for something, right? I wish people in this industry would just take advantage of what we have. It's billions of dollars. There's so many cars on the road. They're not making windshields shatterproof anytime, or they won't chip or whatever. That's never going to work. ADAS is never going to be self-calibrating. Someone's still going to have to go into a module to.
I'm using that definitely in the future. And every time an OEM announces self-calibration, I will make sure I play this clip over and over and over again. But one of the other things too in this whole tirade of whatever is, yes, the glass technology is increasing. We've seen it on smartphones, and that all technology migrates outwards. So you will see types of glass technology. Again, we've already seen it over the last 10 years, but you're going to see it get better. And as manufacturers of electric vehicles and different types of hybrid vehicles become more prevalent, the glass also needs to change for that components, because the weight of these vehicles for crush and rollover and things like that, they're all changing the game. All you have to do is go to SEMA, and you can see how this technology is rapidly evolving and how collision groups are starting to handle it. But again, these are all things that don't ever say never, first of all. And it is this way. The craziness is everywhere in the country. There's pockets of it, and it's population density based. So you have somebody that's out in the boonies, and you'll get to me, great. But you're in somebody like a metro area, New Jersey, New York, Phoenix, Denver, San Francisco, whatever. Those are going to be do you know who I am? I need this taken care of today types of deals. So those actually happen everywhere. It's not special.
Lauren, you're going to have to get paid for that. You're taking the liability. You touch the car. When you think about all those things,
just prove my point on the pricing.
It's not going nowhere, right? And when you and is the TPAs going anywhere? I don't know.
Yeah,
there's so many different rumors going around. Would I like?
Well, they're not going to go anywhere if we keep inviting them to Auto Glass Week. Now, look, Justin May down there, Driven Claims. I get along with him. I have a very friendly industry relationship, more so than I have with anybody at Safeway. But Driven is doing something that is not too different than what SafeLight is. But we invite these companies to Auto Glass Week for what purpose? I was shocked to see Driven pasted everywhere and supporting local labs and whatnot, but then to turn around and hear the crap that happens with Arbella up in the Northeast, right in Michael's backyard. So yes, the TPAs do need to change. Insurance companies need to realize this. That is what associations do. We advocate as a group, as numbers, to make the change. So if you're all willing to change and you want change to happen, we're prepared on this side. We just need everybody else to come along with it.
To be gone and we just bill them directly? Why not? I would love to do that. But we don't know. Am I going to let that ruin my day? Is that going to ruin my week? Is it going to ruin my quarter?
That's scrolling well.
No, I'm just going to keep pushing.
Or that poor guy's post.
What I'm doing, and along
everybody
the road,
should post one thing later for Michael.
I'm just going to
post something that is blood boiling.
Move on. If you're a man listening to this, go get your testosterone checked, and if it's low, get on TRT. It'll change your life.
Yeah.
I'm
not there yet, but I will be. I'm sure at some point. I'm not there yet. My last time I had my testosterone test, I was right at the 750 mark, so I'm still good there.
It's not bad. That's pretty high.
I mean for being 47 years old, that's not bad at all. Not bad. At 47.
Everything's working. The pipes are still working.
No idea why we need to bring testosterone in this, other than what Michael is saying under this is, you need to man up and forget about the rest of this stuff. And if you're unable to man up, it's because your testosterone's low. And if your testosterone's low, let's just juice the fuck up and let's go. The reality is, I'm 55 years old. I have a 648 for my testosterone. I do not supplement. I don't throw shit into my body. And the reality is, I don't think if my testosterone was 20 points lower, I'd be any less passionate about being a business owner, about representing businesses. But to bring weird crap into it and kind of say underneath the lines, well, if you're one of those wussy men out there, you better get your testosterone checked and get on TRT. This is the kind of crap we don't need. And even if it's just for influencer clicks, this is just not something we need at all. It's weird and it's bizarre to talk about it, but at least we know where James stands. And that's good because, I mean, he bikes and he does some things and I would hope his testosterone's up from doing that stuff. But just, I can't, I guess I need to tune in next month and maybe I could be invited on as a guest and we can spar and debate about some of this weirdness. I don't mind. I like calling it out. But let's just finish this off. It's an hour now. I didn't intend for this to go this long, but thanks for hanging in for those of you who have watched it.
Working, so, you know, eventually it's going to die down and I'm not going to be the one that doesn't go get on TRT. So, you know, when it happens.
And I know we're ending this, but America and the propaganda, politics, and the media, they want you to be mediocre because you could be controlled. And I could tell you right now, like 98% of this industry is a bunch of mediocre people. And it's sad because there's so much opportunity ahead of you.
Yeah.
And you just don't take advantage of it.
I'm just going to call bullshit on that. If you're a business owner and you wake up day in and day out and you've got the kids, you've got the debt, you've got bills, you got all of this stuff, you're not mediocre for going out and challenging the day. I commend you for everything that you do. Don't ever let this kind of crap, and no media is like barging down on it. About the only media that is holding us up is the media in our industry. But the reality is, just go out and you do one thing better to be just a little bit better in what you do today. Be better about yourself personally and your own relationships. But at the end of the day, keep the grind. Make small changes. But do not ignore the things that are happening with legislation. Do not ignore the 800-pound elephant in the room or whatever the terminology is. We have to keep the course here. And obfuscation and this work harder, settle for less mentality is absolute BS. And also, fact check those people that are out there that are saying, well, I have all the answers or I've done this. They probably have done about that much of what they're saying. And you could check it out very easily by Google SEO. You can actually check it by blind calling and just seeing how they operate and what they say. So do some due diligence, definitely, before you listen to any of us. And I do thank you. I'm very grateful for all of you that have contributed to the Independent Glass Association and our mission and what we are doing. It is very important. I give, and so does our board and everybody else here at the IGA every day to make sure fairness is coming to our industry and that SafeLight and the insurance companies do not pass the laws that further capitate what we're doing. So with that, thank you for hanging in for a beautiful 1 hour and 3 minutes. I do have to leave you with this commercial. If you sit through it, great. If not, you skip over it. But it is a good product. We do appreciate their partnership and all of our industry partners. This is Gary, Shatterproof. Flame it, positive, whatever you want to do with this, but let's just go get shit done.
We founded Supreme Auto Glass in 2020. We're a 2-person team. We're together 25 hours out of the day. Since we founded Supreme Auto Glass, we've always used Seeker products. So we put our trust in them and our clients trust us. Being able to use a product that's primerless to glass, we save a lot of time and money not having to activate the frit, letting us install more windshields in a day for more profit for our small business. The gunability that PTG Premium has is far superior. It has a short cutoff string and the decking is also a lot firmer, so you don't have to worry in the summer when we set the glass that it's gonna ooze out of the sides. Choosing a premium adhesive is the insurance that we have to make sure the customer is safe and the bond is unbreakable.
They're nobodies with vans, you see, just owning a job, not a destiny. But their easy life has a lower price. My stress will drive you to a padded room twice. So scale your hustle, embrace the fight, then lose your mind for the profit light. Work harder, settle for less, that's the American nightmare, I guess.